What's up, guys? Today, we're going to talk about an elephant in the room, or what might be better described as a mouse in the room that one day could grow up to be an elephant that demolishes everything that we love and know about Counter Strike as we know it. Maybe that's hyperbole. I don't know. It is called Fraction.skin. So, what Fraction.skin is a platform that just came out a day or two ago, but has been slowly hyped over the last month or two. It's a platform that allows you to buy shares of skins. Sounds crazy, I know. So basically, how it works is they onboard skins either through their own trusted third party people or you list your own. Not sure how that works yet. There are shares that you can buy. Interesting, and I should note they use the word shares and they use the word invest. More on that later. Shares are available to buy of the skins. They come in. They basically take a skin like an Op Dragon lore or some other expensive, highly illiquid skin, and they basically say, okay, we're going to chop it up into 100 pieces, and you can buy 1/100th of an op. You can't use that op, and it's not like a timeshare where you can pull the op out for 1/100th of a year and you get the rights to use it and then you have to turn it back. No, no, no. The only benefit is when you go to sell it, you then get that portion of that share, whether or not the share has risen in price or fallen in price. So, anyway, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but they have an app. It just rolled out, like I said, a couple of days ago. They have 10 items. They're all relatively high dollar items. So, you've got your factory new Gungnir, a factory new Dragon Lore, a Minware Howl. We got some Nox here, an Empress. If you want to, I think it's $22 or $160 or something like that. Again, I'm not the, oh, okay, so a share is $5. And you can buy it on Solana or using Solana, using USDT that's hosted, USDC hosted through Solana. And then once you have it in your wallet, you'll have like a share on your wallet. And then you can either transfer it to somebody else, load it to this marketplace, and then sell it. That's how I understand it. The people behind it literally just came out of nowhere. Started in October 2025. A lot of people on Twitter, in the circles, the boys have been talking about how now that Counter-Strike skins are becoming big, the crypto people are starting to take note and starting to want a piece of the action. Something I should note, and I'm not sure if this is true, recently the value of all skins, about $5 billion right now, is higher than that of the entire NFT marketplace. That has to do with the fact that NFTs, by and large, don't have very widespread utility or widespread demand. However, with Counter-Strike, there are millions of people who play this game every week. It has a ton of demand, a ton of utility because you can use it. You can use these skins in this video game. And other than the fact that there's not a chain, there is quite a lot in similarity between Counter-Strike skins and NFTs, which of course has crypto people interested. So yeah, they started here October 2025. Literally, I'm recording this in November 2025, so it literally just came right out of the woodwork. This man, Lawat at Lawat, his name's Van, started also posting and hosting giveaways. So he talks about a problem in the skin market being trust. The problem isn't trust. They just are creating a problem to try to make a solution for it. And my point with this video is, one, this is not a problem. And two, this solution does not solve this problem. And three, might be illegal. Anyway, so what they say is that every major platform now relies on bots, custody accounts, or Steam inventories that can be banned or shut down at any moment. One, not really anything wrong with bots. Bots right now are fine in the market. Go to any bot trading account, D-Market, I think Skins Monkey, I'm not sure. They're doing great. Custody accounts, okay, you're only really messing with custody accounts if you've got serious money in this. And then Steam inventory is going to be banned or shut down at any moment. Okay, if you're going to be banned, more than likely you were cheating. Steam doesn't just go around banning people. For the most part, it happens every once in a while, of course. We're all human. Users lose everything. Okay, but how does this mess with the market? The market is still fine. CS float functions perfectly. You know, Skin Baron, shout out Skin Baron, functions perfectly. So they say we designed this to be bulletproof. There are no bots, no custody, no middleman. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. Peer-to-peer. So hold on. It says peer-to-peer. They don't use bots. They say we never hold the Steam inventory, so zero ban risk, but it's peer-to-peer. So we still have Steam inventories that can be banned. We didn't even solve the thing that we were talking about 2 paragraphs ago. That was the problem. So there's no bots, no custody, no middleman. But if it's peer-to-peer, you're still having that same issue where Steam can just ban the inventory. You're not removing the inventory from Valve or Steam's purview or ability to ban it all. Kind of weird. So again, they're already... Anyway, all trades are settled in USDC. So this to me shows, okay, we want to just take a derivative of a skin, throw it on chain so that you can trade it. And we have these skins maybe under lock and key, maybe not. I'm not quite sure how that works. Nobody can freeze your assets or run away with your money. Well, if the underlying asset does run away, what good is your derivative? You're holding the paper version of an Op Dragon lore. But if somebody literally runs away with your Op Dragon lore, they literally run away with your money. So how it works, skin is onboarded at a fair market price, whatever, split into shares. You can buy as many fractions as you want. Shares then trade freely between users, which is a derivative of the underlying being whatever the skin is. You collect 100%, you can redeem the actual skin. Great, awesome. Profits are automatic via a direct peer-to-peer trade. So like, let's say if I buy 100% of this guy's Ock Dragon lore, you can redeem the actual skin. But if I can come into this app and I can say, okay, I want to sell my item, I can click on sell right now. I can set up a trade link. I can sell my item. If I were to list my Op Dragon lore here right now, I could then say, okay, well, somebody bought all of the rights to my Op Dragon lore. I guess I have to sell it to them. Oh, wait, no, I actually don't really want to. What's stopping you? There's no recourse. There's nothing backing this. There's no SPIC or FDIC here to make you whole if somebody who has the underlying asset say, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to run off with it. Profits are automatic. As skin rises in value, your fractions reflect that growth. Okay, so let's assume every skin on the site is legitimate and that people actually are, redeeming stuff as they come across. So here's my number 3 point. This could be a violation of US securities laws. Either the Commodities Future Trade Regulatory System, CFTC, either this is under their regulation or this is under the SEC via Securities and Exchange Commission Act of 1933, because they are using the term invest. So this is an investment. They are taking an item, they're fractionalizing it into a derivative, and they are saying, invest in this. This is an investment. This is an offering of an investment. And if this is open to US citizens, this needs to be registered as such. Now, they need to talk to a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I happen to work in the investment industry. But this, to me, as an American and as somebody who works in the industry, screams of an unregistered offering of securities. Now, whether or not that gets enforced, I'm not going to go into. But to me, as a half lay person, half somebody who's dabbled in this industry, but not enough to be a lawyer in this, it looks suspect. Now, on to other points. Other than the fact that, one, I don't think that this is solving a problem that exists. They're trying to make a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Two, I don't think that this business model really works out. Three, it might be untoward. It might be a little, under the table. Anyway, there's a lot of yapping in here. What they did do is they hosted a ton of high profile giveaways. One of which was I think $15,000-$20,000 Karambit Emerald. Fantastic knife. But they made the winner, RB Nice, they made the winner sign an NDA. Not sure why. Obviously, I don't know the contents of the NDA, nor would I ask RB Nice about this. He's a good friend of mine. Shout out RB Nice. They did this to try to sway the opinion of the masses. Obviously, these guys, being crypto bros, they've got some money and they're trying to roll in and, get some attention. Great on them. I'm not sure why they needed an NDA though. That's just me. Dabmaster Daniel, also shout out Dabmaster Daniel. You guys need to follow him if you're not. This did tell me that Van hosted some giveaways that didn't get paid out. Not sure if these just didn't get the engagement that he wanted because this was way back in September. This was September 10th. But these never came out. So I'm not really sure what happened here. It's not even like a factory new op Dragon Lore. It's like a field tested, high field tested, maybe. Oh, it says Battle Scarred. My bad. Not sure why this one wasn't paid out. I just heard that it wasn't, so people were already kind of up in arms about this guy Van. And then yesterday, Fraction announced that they are coming out with a new token because on top of coming up with a solution for a problem that doesn't exist, now they have their own token, which not really sure how it wraps into their platform. Maybe you get these points as as you do stuff, as you trade within the platform. It just bugged out on me. Great. And then over time you earn more of this token. Cool. Immediately some crypto Twitter account called BTC Existential calls it as a scam. So they're alleging that this is a scam. I don't know. Insider allocation 100%, 300 holders, market cap about 1.7 million. Fantastic. So they're calling it a scam immediately. I think it has to do with the allocation, early allocation and seeding. And I have a tweet here from Pigeon who did some digging through Pump Fund. I might have been in this industry a couple of years, but I've never used Pump Fund, so forgive me. They say the dev team for the coin has all sniped their own coin while it was at the $30,000 to $90,000 market cap. One of them turned 2 Solana into over 85 Solana, which if you get onto here, Van gets very angry. He says, please learn to read. Super helpful. Great job, Van. Read the tokenomics. Okay, so we'll read the tokenomics. So what he is referring to, the top 4 holders being funded by the same wallet is, oh, actually, that was another tweet. Great. I just got ahead of myself. That they snipe their own coin. That's actually the liquidity pool, the Genesis launch pool. Everything else is locked and vested. It's going to come out every month for the next 5 years, it looks like, just about. So cool. 66% of it happens to be locked up, or 62% happens to be locked up. The 37.5 is out and around. Of that, it seems that the top 4 holders are all funded by the same wallet. So it's highly likely that the top 4 holders are all the same entity, or at least they're acting as some sort of a syndicate. So great. They've got a very nice buttoned up system. However, it still came across to crypto people in the crypto space as suspect enough to call it a scam, to allege that it is a scam right off the bat. So that's suspect. Very suspect. Miwo had a really good point though. Buying into fractional skins completely misses the point of owning the skins, which is the ability to play with it and showing it off in game. That's the utility of it. There's no upside with them being involved. If you did want to invest, and this is his advice. This is not investment advice. He says it's much better to buy cheap cases or armory for pure investment, which is consistently shown 5 to 10x gains compared to highly illiquid skins that only go up 2 to 3x maybe in the same time period. It's an interesting point. It's an interesting point because one of the issues that Fraction in their many articles have put out that they're trying to take the skins that don't have very much liquidity and they're trying to add liquidity into it. But I'm not sure that that's a problem. I'm not sure that that's an issue. I think the people who buy and sell these assets, they understand that it is illiquid, being that it is an asset, being that it's not a fungible token like something like Ethereum, where every unit of Ethereum is the exact same. You know, my Dragon lore might be different than somebody else's Dragon lore because of where or because who has previously owned it or any number of reasons. So I don't understand the reason to buy into this personally. And this adds a lot more risk because on top of the risk of the platform going down, now you have the risk of the person who owns the underlying asset running away. And this is something that if you're into crypto, you'll understand, Solana, the cryptocurrency that this is all based off of, is not known for its 100% uptime. Solana goes down often. So what happens? What happens when Solana goes offline and somebody wants to redeem their share of a Dragon lore? We don't know. We don't know. It's one of the many questions that Van does not answer. I have personally commented on Van's tweets at least one time, asking questions like, what do you do about regulatory stuff? And he doesn't answer it. Anytime he comes to answer, it's always like, oh, what about the haters? What do the haters have to say now? What do the haters have to say now? Fantastic. Honestly, this is actually the one thing I'm the most happy about, because Van actually paid out after making him sign an NDA. Anyway, I don't have very much more to talk about. This was really just a warning that people are alleging that this site does not solve a problem that exists right now in the Counter-Strike space, and that it actually puts more risk than it does take away risk to skins investing. But what I'm here to say is that this could actually cause bigger issues on a regulatory level for the entire marketplace. Because if regulators start to view these assets as more than just digital assets, as digital investments, then we come into problems with bank secrecy laws, the SEC, secondary market regulations. It could shut down or change skins entirely. So I urge the community to be very skeptical and to always ask questions, not just to these people, not just to Lawat, to Fraction.skin, just to ask questions in general. When something new like this comes out, ask questions. Anyway, that's all I got.